Have you noticed lately that reading a 3-page article or just sitting still and thinking for 10 minutes feels almost impossible? We are no longer just living and working. We are being eroded. Every single day, millions of people wake up, go through their routines, and yet inside, there's an invisible energy reserve that's just completely drained. No physical labor, no open wounds, but an exhaustion so deep that a good night's sleep doesn't even make a dent. We're facing a literal clinical condition of the digital age. Your brain is being constantly overloaded and robbed of focus. So let's peel back the layers of what is actually happening inside your mind, based on the absolute coldest, hardest scientific evidence.
I really want you to be honest with yourself for a second. Think about this question. When was the last time you read something long-form without reaching for your phone? The restlessness hits, right? Your mind wanders. It literally feels like a thick fog has just rolled over your train of thought. Listen to me. That is not an illusion. And more importantly, it is absolutely not a personal failure. That secret creeping fear you hold, the one that your attention span is just fading away completely, it's entirely justified.
So let's dive into part 1, the symptoms of our era. This is all about cognitive exhaustion.
Your inability to focus, the struggle to remember those tiny details, and that hollow, empty feeling you get at the end of the day, these are the core symptoms of a massive modern epidemic. We aren't exhausted because we're working in coal mines or doing heavy physical labor. We're going through a completely new type of fatigue, a systematic extraction. Think about it. Human history is used to physical exhaustion. Your muscles ache, you sleep, and bam, the next day you recover. But right now, we are living right in the middle of the digital fatigue paradox. You sit in a really comfortable chair all day, zero strenuous physical tasks, but your brain and your emotions are just completely wiped out. Sleep isn't the antidote anymore, because what's being damaged isn't your muscles, it's your cognitive resources.
Which brings us to Section 2, the invisible burnout, a documented clinical condition.
Scientists and psychologists don't even consider this just a temporary mood anymore. It's actually evolved from a vague, bad feeling into an official medical diagnosis. You really need to know this term, digital dementia. It was coined by neuroscientist Manfred Spitzer, and it describes a very real cognitive decline and neurodegeneration in young people, stuff we previously only saw in the elderly. Overusing technology is literally shifting us from internal memory consolidation to essentially outsourcing our cognition to our devices. I mean, when you rely completely on your phone to remember numbers, schedules, or how to navigate a city, your brain's hippocampus, that's the area responsible for learning and memory, it gets severely underutilized. And if you don't use it, it begins to weaken and atrophy. It's exactly like a muscle wasting away.
This whole concept is brilliantly illustrated by some recent research done on university students. It reveals a severe loss of cognitive depth. The studies show a direct, undeniable correlation between mobile device addiction and what we commonly call brain fog. And here's the kicker. It's not just the screen time itself. It's the internal conflict and those repetitive, mindless usage behaviors that actually drain you. You know the drill. You unlock your phone, you don't even know what you're looking for, you scroll unconsciously for 10 minutes, and then you lock it. That specific repetitive loop, that is exactly what creates extreme cognitive fatigue and emotional depletion.
Let's look at Section 3, the brain under the scanner, seeing the MRI scars of burnout.
I want to be perfectly clear. This exhaustion isn't just in your mind. It's not your imagination. It leaves literal, physical scars. If we take someone with this invisible burnout and put their brain in an MRI scanner, the objective medical truth is, honestly, it's brutal. Digital fatigue causes physical, structural changes in the brain. First up, the amygdala. That's the center for processing fear and stress. It actually becomes physically enlarged, particularly in women. Second, there's a measurable loss of gray matter in the prefrontal cortex. That's the precise area responsible for logical thinking, planning, and self-control. So your brain is being physically reshaped by this lifestyle. The part that reacts to stress swells up, while the part that helps you stay calm and think deeply literally shrinks. It's terrifying.
And the neurological consequences of those structural changes, they are severe. Functional MRIs and EEGs demonstrate a profound loss of synchronized alpha activity, or what scientists call alpha band coherence. Now, why does that matter to you? Because this reduction in alpha waves is the direct physical culprit behind your sluggish decision-making, your cognitive inflexibility, and those annoying short-term memory blanks you probably experience every single day. Because of this structural damage, your brain is actually forced into compensatory executive overdrive, a hyperactivation, just to complete normal everyday tasks. It is basically running the engine constantly in the red line, which inevitably leads to total system depletion.
Moving on to Section 4, the attention extractors. This is the algorithmic drain.
So who or what is actually causing all of this? Look, it is time to shake off the guilt right now. You are not lazy, you are not weak-willed. Your attention and your cognitive resources are being systematically siphoned off by algorithmic structures that were purposely designed to do exactly that. These extractors are working 24/7. Research by Ward and his colleagues brings us a pretty terrifying reality. They call it brain drain. And the quote goes, "The mere presence of one's own smartphone reduces available cognitive capacity. You don't even have to touch the screen. Just having the phone sitting there on your desk within your line of sight forces your brain to constantly expend precious energy just to suppress the temptation to pick it up. This implicit inhibitory control silently, constantly drains your mental capacity."
Let's dig a little deeper into how this extraction mechanism actually works. Algorithms are explicitly optimized to trap us in passive consumption loops. Studies actually show that mindlessly watching short videos causes significantly heavier brain fog than using your phone to, say, text or communicate with an actual human being. On top of that, the constant blue light suppresses your melatonin production. That shatters your sleep architecture and permanently alters your sleep quality. And perhaps most alarmingly, digital technostressors are now scientifically linked to chronic low-grade inflammation throughout your entire body. These algorithms aren't just taking your time, guys. They are inducing chronic biological stress.
Finally, Section 5, the power to disconnect, how to reclaim your mind. But hey, the story does not end in a dead end here. Every clinical diagnosis comes with a treatment plan, right? The very first step to escaping this structural manipulation is just recognizing the immense value of the cognitive resources you currently hold. And the incredibly hopeful news here is that this brain damage, it's highly plastic. Clinical studies refer to this as reversible brain networkopathy. The cortical thinning and that limbic hyperreactivity we talked about can actually be partially reversed. When you remove those digital pathogens and introduce intentional, healthy habits, like mindfulness, regular exercise, or cognitive behavioral therapy, your brain physically regenerates and reorganizes itself. You absolutely can get your sharpness back.
Which brings us to the core philosophy of this entire analysis. I want you to burn this concept into your mind. True freedom and ultimate wealth in this digital era is not about massive financial assets. True freedom is having the agency and the absolute sovereignty to control the turn-off notifications button. The ability to defend your attention from the extraction of these algorithms, that is hands down your most powerful weapon to protect your mind, your peace, and your capacity to think deeply.
So I'm going to leave you with this. There is absolutely nothing more powerfully awakening than staring at your own data. Not tomorrow, not later, right now. I want you to open your phone, go to your settings, and check what your screen time is for today. Really look at that number, because that number is the exact amount of vitality, cognitive bandwidth, and raw brain power that you traded away today. Change begins the exact second you confront that data. The decision to take your attention back starts right now, and it is entirely yours.